Welcome back to Conflict News 2042. Another update for you on the ongoing escalation between Israel and Gaza based Palestinian armed groups, including Hamas. I did a video a few hours ago. This is second video. Several important developments in the last 4 to 5 hours. Benjamin Netanyahu, Israeli Prime Minister, spoke. Ismail Haniyeh, Hamas political wing head, spoke to. Israeli opposition leader spoke as well. Defense minister issued a statement today. How is Middle East responding to the conflict in between Israel and Hamas fighters, and how many died on the two sides? Which weapons are being used by Hamas and the other side, Israeli Defense Forces? What is Israeli military's plan and now? And what is overall situation? Some videos have been released by the two sides. Details for you in this video. Firstly, we have seen now official statements from the two sides about the escalation. The official statements point towards the likely course of this conflict. What is Israel saying? What does it want to do? What is Ismail Haniyeh, Hamas' position about the conflict? Netanyahu spoke just 30 minutes ago, Israeli Prime Minister. And he said Israeli forces will use all their capabilities to ensure that what happened today does not happen in future. He said where Hamas is will be turned into islands of ruins, means into rubble. Everything in Gaza is going to be destroyed where Hamas is based. He told civilians in Gaza to leave. It means, now how to interpret Benjamin Netanyahu's speech? Obviously, he is saying that he is going to exterminate Hamas through airstrikes, drone strikes, and maybe through ground invasion too. It means Israeli military is planning ground invasion of Gaza. Israeli military is not in Gaza. It is clearing settlements to the east of Gaza where Hamas fighters entered this morning. And still in more than 20 locations in these settlements, fighting is ongoing between Israeli forces and Hamas fighters. So after clearing these settlements, it seems Israeli forces will try to enter Gaza, to clear entire Gaza. So it points towards large escalation. This is the position of Benjamin Netanyahu, Israeli Prime Minister. Israeli Defense Minister spoke as well, Yoav Gallant. He said that 15 years ago he was close to breaking the backbone of Hamas, but he was stopped. This time, no one is going to stop. Hamas will be finished forever. And interestingly, Israeli opposition leader Yair Lapid spoke as well. He held a meeting with Netanyahu, the Prime Minister, and after that he proposed formation of emergency unity government because it is time of war. So he proposed that a new emergency government should be put in place to handle the situation. Will Netanyahu listen to opposition leader? That remains to be seen. If Netanyahu opposes the idea of this new national transitional emergency government, what will Yair Lapid do? The opposition leader will see. Ismail Haniyeh, Hamas political wing head, spoke to. He shared details of what led to today's operation by Hamas. Today's operation was launched by Hamas. We cannot deny that. It was Hamas whose fighters entered the territories which are under Israeli control. These Hamas commando units launched a sort of blitzkrieg. They stormed two Israeli military bases. They entered dozens of settlements where Israelis live. Hamas and Palestinians say these settlements are illegal, built on Palestinian land. Then after that, Hamas fighters killed Israeli of soldiers, civilians too. Now, Ismail Hania firstly said that two officers are leading this operation. On the ground, Yahya al-Sanwar is leading the operation on behalf of Hamas, while Muhammad al-Daif is the chief of staff, overall head of these operations. Ismail Hania made it clear that this is not fight between just Gaza and Israel. He said this resistance movement, this struggle will expand towards Jerusalem, towards West Bank. He asked all Palestinians to rise. He said, enough is enough. Holy places, Muslim holy places, Al-Aqsa Mosque, etc., being desecrated by Israeli forces. People in Gaza, their lives miserable. Illegal settlements expanding. International community not listening to Palestinians. So Palestinians were not left with many options but to start this operation. Now this fight will continue. This is what Ismail Hania said, and he said that this fight will continue until the liberation of Jerusalem. Now, the two sides have made their positions clear, both pointing towards a large, protracted escalation. What about the response of Middle Eastern countries? How are they responding to this conflict? Statements issued by several Arab countries. Qatar blamed Israel for this escalation in a statement. Saudi Arabia called for restraint, but it blamed Israel, that Israeli expansionist ambitions led to this escalation. Kuwait condemned Israeli attacks. Oman called for restraint. UAE called for de-escalation, not supporting anyone. Oman not supporting anyone. UAE just recently restored ties, diplomatic ties with Israel. Egypt also calling for restraint, not taking sides. Turkey offered to mediate, not taking sides. Iran silent, but Iran's response is very much expected. It's going to condemn Israeli attacks. It's going to back Hamas. It's one of the main backers of Hamas. Lebanon's Hezbollah, Hamas ally groups in Syria. So that is how Middle East is responding. Now, what is happening on northern border of Israel? Because what happens in the north is going to be crucial in this conflict. Israel shares border with Lebanon in the north, and to the north and east it shares border with Syria. Iran can enter into this conflict through Syria. Iran does not share border with Palestine, with Israel, with Gaza. It can enter into this conflict through Syria, which is border with Israel, through Lebanon. No major activity on Israel, Syria, Syria and Israel-Lebanon border so far. Some Hezbollah fighters were seen heading towards Israeli border, but Israeli border guards fired at them and they retreated. So no major activity there. No major activity on Syria and Israel border. No major activity in West Bank too. West Bank is the headquarters of Palestinian government. Mahmoud Abbas obviously is condemning Israeli attacks, but no attacks on Israelis from West Bank so far. Hamas, Gaza-based groups want uh, West Bank Palestinian government to join in this conflict. So far, no evidence that Mahmoud Abbas government is going to join Hamas in the fight against Israeli forces. Let's see what happens in future. So far, we're seeing only statements. So this is the overall situation. Now, how many casualties so far? Israeli authorities have confirmed more than 250 casualties so far. 250 killed, around 250 seriously injured, and they are in critical condition, and around 1500 total injured and 250 seriously injured. Palestinians dying too, because Israel is conducting airstrikes now on Gaza. Two multi-story buildings were bombarded by Israeli jets today in Gaza, and the buildings collapsed totally. Though Israeli Air Force warned in advance. Israeli forces said that the two buildings were housing offices of Hamas. Buildings destroyed. Around 200 Palestinians killed so far reportedly, and hundreds injured in Israeli airstrikes ongoing in different locations like Yahya al-Sinwar, the Hamas military operational head's house was also bombarded by Israeli jets. So this is the situation on the ground in terms of casualties, in terms of injured people. After Israel carried out attacks on buildings in Gaza, Hamas fighters fired rockets into Tel Aviv, Israeli capital, and some managed to bypass the air defense system and landed in Tel Aviv, causing some losses, no casualties in Tel Aviv, but several people injured reportedly. Hamas fighters, as I said earlier, they're using drones. They're using locally built missile systems. A video has been shared by Hamas fighters showing a 114 locally manufactured missile system. Gliders are being used to innovations by Hamas fighters to penetrate Israeli territories. Hamas fighters still in Israeli territories, if they are Israeli territories, because the territories are disputed. Hamas fighters say the settlements are illegal. They're part of Palestine, but it is occupied by Israeli forces. So fighting in more than 20 locations in areas which were under Israeli control yesterday. Israeli military trying to clear these settlements. Can it succeed? That remains to be seen. Now, two bases of Israeli military were attacked by Hamas fighters today. They have released a video from Ares military base where they attacked the base and dozens of soldiers were killed there. Military equipment was seized too by Hamas fighters. And the second base is Israeli Defense Forces Gaza headquarters, which is in Raim area. Hamas fighters attacked Raim, but Raim has been retaken by the Israeli forces. So this is the overall situation. War is another name of brutality. That is what is being seen on the ground. Hamas fighters were seen parading dead body of an Israeli girl. Semi-naked dead body of an Israeli girl was paraded by Hamas fighters. Israeli soldiers have arrested some Hamas fighters. They stripped them naked, they tortured them, and they released their naked pictures. Brutality on both sides. There is hate, bitterness between these two sides. Both want to kill each other, civilians, fighters too. No tangible intervention so far to resolve this conflict. UN Security Council is going to meet on Sunday. An emergency session has been called. But before this session, a lot is going to happen in coming hours. So we'll try to keep you updated. This is the overall situation regarding the ongoing confrontation between Hamas fighters and Israeli forces. Can this conflict spread, engulfing West Bank, Lebanon, Syria, with involvement of other countries too, involvement of outside players too, like US? Netanyahu spoke to Joe Biden today, and Joe Biden announced full support for Netanyahu. That we'll see in coming days, but I think Israel is going to use full force. Benjamin Netanyahu is going to use full force for his political survival. It would be difficult for him to survive politically if he did not use entire strength. So he will go for ground invasion of Gaza, which will definitely expand the conflict. Other players could be involved. Thank you for watching.